At some point, almost everyone asks the same question. What is the meaning of life? And it sounds deep, it sounds important, but it's also a question we fail to answer. It feels impossible. That's why I wanted to ask a different question, one that feels a little more honest. What makes a life meaningful? Because these two questions aren't the same. The first one sounds like there's a universal answer out there, like a life came with instructions we somehow lost. The second one turns the question inward. It assumes something important, that meaning isn't discovered, it's built. And that already makes things harder, because it means there's no shortcuts, no checklist, no do these five things and you're done. The truth is, there is no one size fits all answer to what makes a life meaningful. And that's not a flaw, that's the whole point. I can't tell you what gives your life meaning, just like you can't tell me what gives mine meaning. And that can be uncomfortable, because answering this question requires something most of us avoid, actually looking at ourselves honestly. I think I know what gives my life meaning, not because I'm special, but because I have spent time listening to myself. And even then, that answer keeps changing. Meaning isn't fixed, it evolves as we do. That's where something I've talked about comes in: impermanence. If everything lasted forever, meaning wouldn't exist. Moments matter because they end. People matter because they can be lost. Choices matter because we can't make all of them. A meaningful life isn't about doing something big or something grand. It's about doing something true, true to who you are right now. And I think that's why so many people feel lost. We live in a world that constantly tells us what should matter, what success looks like, what a good life is supposed to be. Without realizing it, we start borrowing meanings that aren't ours. We chase goals that sound impressive, lives that look good from the outside, relationships that make sense on paper. And then one day, we stop and think, why do I feel so empty? That doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're waking up. Because meaning isn't loud. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it shows up as a quiet sense of peace, or a small excitement you can't explain, or that feeling of, yeah, this feels right. Even if it doesn't make sense yet. For me, meaning didn't come all at once. It wasn't a revelation. It was not a moment where everything suddenly clicked. It came in fragments. In moments where I felt aligned with myself, in moments where I stopped performing and started being honest, in moments where I chose truth over comfort. And honestly, sometimes I still don't know. And that's okay. A meaningful life doesn't require certainty, it requires curiosity and the willingness to ask yourself uncomfortable questions, the courage to admit when something no longer fits, the patience to let answers arrive slowly. If you're watching this and thinking, oh, I don't know what gives my life meaning yet, I mean, you're not behind, you're not broken or late. You're just in the middle of that process. And that process is the point. Meaning isn't something you find at the end of the road, it's something you create while walking. Through your choices, your values, the way you treat people, the way you treat yourself. A meaningful life isn't about avoiding loss, it's about loving anyway, showing up even when nothing is guaranteed, choosing depth over performance. So, no, I don't think there's a single meaning of life, but I do think there are meaningful lives. Lives lived intentionally, lives lived honestly, lives that actually belong to the people living them. Maybe the goal isn't to figure everything out, maybe it's to keep asking better questions and to keep listening when the answer changes. Take care of yourself. I hope to see you soon. Hopefully.